Fred and Sheila McCoy, Hatfield McCoy Museum, FredMcCoy.com. Sheila's behind the camera.
Hi guys, hope you're having a great night.
You probably can't see it, but I've got a little barricade set up here. I'm looking at a new book that's released, and I had such high hopes for it. I thought I had read the description of it online and all this and that, and I thought it was going to be a totally different book, and it's not. It's not, and I'm going to give a full review on it later on, but I've just read, I'm on page probably 6, 8, 10, and I'm just going to read you a couple little lines here and there, and just to show you how it just never seems to end. It just, even in this person's book, in his introduction, he says, William Anderson Devil Anse Hatfield, whose military career, like the feud, is often immersed in myth and misinformation. As a result, many published accounts of Hatfield's Confederate service are inaccurate. And you read that and you think, wow, he's exactly right. Now that's the truth. Okay. And I'm not going to read every line, but
okay.
It says the Logan Wildcats. However, there is no reliable evidence supporting the story or traditions. He's talking about Devil Anse being in the Logan Wildcats. And you think again, way to go. You're exactly right. There is absolutely no one iota of evidence, of physical evidence, of written evidence, of anything that Devil Anse ever belonged to the Wildcats, the 36th Virginia Infantry. And it goes on, it says, evidence supporting the story beyond family tradition. And that's right. Family tradition has always supported Devil Anse's captain rank, his Logan Wildcats. It's family tradition. It's spoken into history. That's a better way of saying spoken into history. Family tradition. You know, is any of us got any relatives that won't brag on you? There's always something good to say about somebody if they're related to you. Although there are many versions based solely on family tradition. Feud tensions emerged from the Civil War, and that's true. We've never questioned that. We've always said the Civil War, that's the basis. That's when Devil Anse deserted. And that's when the hard feelings first became 1863. When he deserted and left the rest of the men there. It wasn't only him desert. We got other videos coming up with Civil War records showing his father, Ellison, all these guys, their desertion papers. He didn't only desert. It wasn't Devil Anse that was that valuable. He took his family and his friends with him, or other people that didn't want to stay. That was the person that instigated it and said, let's leave. And then the rest of the men, some of them probably wasn't friends. Some of them just left and went home. Further, there is a large body of modern behavioral science. And he's talking about PSTD, which Sheila and I talked about in our book 12, 15 years ago. It's in our book about Randall McCoy, prisoner of war. Nowadays you get a government check for having PSTD, post-traumatic stress syndrome from war. No doubt it's hard on people.
Well, sure.
And a lot of these people, just like people back in the old days, had dementia. They had Alzheimer's. They called it senility, but a lot of people back then had it. But Altina Waller and people writes about it, and they said Daniel McCoy wouldn't work. He just laid around. Well, hell, he's 80 years old. He divorced his wife at 85. Who divorces their wife at 85 years old? That's senility. That's dementia. They couldn't understand what he was doing. Sometimes I think the more education, sometimes common sense is, I don't know. The first year of the Civil War was one of the most ambiguous eras of Devil Anse's life. Ambiguous. There's one person, one so-called historian, that wrote that into history many years ago. Ambiguous. Two different meanings. Devil Anse's military career had two different meanings. How? I was either in the Marine Corps or I wasn't.
Right.
He was either in the 36th or he wasn't. He was either in the 45th or he wasn't. We have no paperwork where he was in the 36th. This gentleman here, you're going to hear in a minute, where he puts him in 3 other units now. He just spoke him in the history in 3 other units.
Wow.
For these kids that come up in life, and this book was just 2021, revised, 2021. Whoa. This is an old book. It's in our rack back there in whatever it was, years ago, and the first page of that book says Captain William Anderson Hatfield. Close the book. When you see a book and the first page it says they don't even know that a man wasn't a captain, that means that this is somebody going to build this fella up. They're going to add on to this. I'm sorry if I'm getting loud. I don't mean to get loud.
You're doing good.
I get so aggravated. The new year, I was going to start the new year off with.
Well, you still have a couple of days.
I got another day before it hits, but
yep.
I was really going to do that. I was going to start the new year off and not talk about nobody, just maybe take adventures and go that route. But his record was ambiguous. I'm sorry, I've lost my spot now.
Take your time.
And then he says, unfortunately, most offer only anecdotal accounts based on family tradition without supporting documentation from military or other records. He says that. Now, guys, this is the smoothest. I think this is the smoothest book, and I'm only on page 8 or 10, looks like. But this is the smoothest I've ever heard anything. 1 minute he says that, and he lets you think, oh, this is a good author. He's going to tell it like it is, just family spoke into history.
It's going to be fair.
Unfortunately, most offer and accounts based on family tradition without supporting documentation from military or other records. A widely accepted, don't let them see it from this book yet, but a widely accepted description of Hatfield's early war service is that he served in the 129th Regiment. I've never heard the 129th brought up before. This is the first time I've heard the 129th Regiment brought up, Virginia military, militia. Although his name is not found on any related documents, regimental muster rolls from the 129th Regiment reveals many of his Hatfield family members and neighbors were in the organization early in the Civil War. In addition, records from the 187th Regiment, Virginia Militia, from nearby Boone and Wayne counties, also contain names of several of his family and friends. But Devil Anse is not found there. While it is not unreasonable to infer that Devil Anse would have served in one of those 2 regiments because his family members did. I had an uncle that was a general or something in the Army. It doesn't make me a general. Jesus Christ. Because of family members and friends. Because his family members and friends served. That means Devil Anse had to serve. Really? You're talking about a man here that disowned his brothers because one of them wouldn't go to the cabin massacre and kill the rest of the family with him after he'd done shot the 3 McCoys. Wall Hatfield wouldn't go to the cabin massacre. He refused, and Devil Anse put him off his property. You're talking about his other brother, Elias, that didn't want to shoot the 3 McCoy boys at the pawpaw trees, and he told them to get out of there. And then they indicted Elias because he was there. And Elias goes to the governor and explains that Devil Anse has put a hit out. A hit nowadays would be called. He told the governor that his brother, Devil Anse, has told everybody to shoot him
on sight.
Mm-hmm. That's his brother. He sends his 2 sons, Johnsy and Cap, to kill people, burn their cabins down, beat them, and he stays at home sick. But yet this gentleman here, This gentleman here says that it wouldn't be unthinkable that since his family and friends served, that he would have been right there with them, along with them. He didn't even go pick his brother's body up from the prison after he was killed. One writer recently expressed doubt that the Hatfield saw any service in the militia or otherwise until 1862. I wonder who that is. Late 62 is when he finally joined the 45th, and he deserted by February of 63. But let's go on. Incomplete militia records were not uncommon in Western Virginia. You know, guys, it's funny. If they don't have something on the McCoys or the Kentucky Hatfields, then it didn't happen. That didn't happen. That's made up. But boy, you don't have a bill of sale, a receipt for a monument when it was delivered. You don't have a captain's rank when he was promoted to captain. You don't have all these items. But it's not uncommon because some military records, this is wrote in this book. However, many of those documents were lost or destroyed in the war. Wow, isn't it funny that the only ones that's lost or destroyed is devil anses? The very ones we're looking for. Daggone it. The very ones that we happen to be looking for, devil anses. And those are the damn papers that got lost. I'm sorry. I wasn't supposed to do that no more.
Shucky darn.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Incomplete records were not uncommon. You know what's not uncommon? It was the muster rolls when Ellis and Hatfield over there deserted in December. Devil Ance's muster roll shows he deserted in February. What was going on there is they was probably a month or two behind. They all deserted together at the same time, probably in the December battle. But they didn't fill out the paperwork for the 45th until February and write down that Devil Ance had deserted. Guys, I wish people would help me. I wish, and Sheila, help me and Sheila. I don't want to just say me because Sheila's right there with me. She just handles her frustration better. I don't know how she does it but when you read, you know, these books, people could write the truth and it would sell. The truth will sell. You could write the truth about it. Yeah, I ain't done. Let me go on because I'm going to make this video short. However many records were destroyed. The fire destroyed most. He's talking about a fire in Logan County destroyed most in February of 62. Okay. They had a fire at the Logan County Courthouse in 1862. Devil Ance didn't go in, according to even some of the other Hatfields, until fall of 62. This is February of 62 when the courthouse caught on fire, evidently. There wouldn't have been no records there for him anyway. He didn't go into 62. But they throw this stuff, it's a, woo, boy.
It's all good.
Another problem was that the insufficient number of men in Western Virginia refused.
Uh-oh. I've seen that face. Sorry. Just breathe. It's okay.
Another problem was that a significant number of men in Western Virginia refused to sign the muster rolls for fear of being identified and bringing retaliation upon their families.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Now, you had to register. You had to sign up to go in. If you was there, you had to sign up and register to fight.
Right.
But you get there to fight, and all of a sudden, I can just see reporting to Paris Island, and them saying, "What's your Social Security number?" "I'm here, but I ain't giving it." Yeah, okay. Guys, if you believe this garbage, I swear I wouldn't put this book in a fire. This is not worth building a fire with so far. And I'm on page 11, looks like, instead of 8 or 10. But they refused to sign their names. So here's Devil Ance a way out. Devil Ance just didn't sign. He didn't want to sign his name. He didn't want to sign the muster rolls. Well, guess what, guys? He didn't get paid. If you didn't sign the muster rolls, you didn't get paid. You weren't accounted for. You're not going to get no money. Devil Ance never had no problem signing the emancipation over there, did he? He showed back up for that after he'd been deserted all that time, so he could go free. Although this way down through there, in one little 3 words, I won't show it to you, but 3 words. He says, after he writes all these other things where he could have served, his family served, what could have happened, he tells you all this stuff, and then he says, although this is speculative, he's just speculating, he's just assuming, he's just thinking. Guys, that's not speculative, that's writing it into history. You're writing that. You just wrote all that garbage for the first, let me see what page I'm on there. Page 10. You just wrote 10 pages of garbage, and then you get here at the bottom of page 10, and you say, all this is speculative.
Wow.
But see, somebody, what if you read that whole 9 3/4 pages, and all of a sudden you had to go eat dinner, or you got called to work, or something happened, you didn't get to read them 3 words. Speculative. Last thing, guys, I'll be done. Volunteer company known as the Logan Wildcats. Although a company logbook containing muster rolls, let's just do this. Other authors have similarly claimed that Devil Anse was in the Logan Wildcats during the Civil War, and that's the problem. Other authors have wanted to write a cheap book, a fast book, and they've copied other authors. After I started reading this, I went to the back of his book, and I'm back here looking at his sources. His sources are the same books that has wrote this shit before. That ain't a bad word. They've wrote this same stuff before. And he's copying off of their books, out of their books. They didn't do any research. And especially if they were related or a Devil Anse fan. Devil Anse was in the Logan Wildcats during the Wildcats, including one who claimed he did so after deserting the regular army. He says that Devil Anse was in the Logan Wildcats after, but another author says that Devil Anse was in the Logan Wildcats after he claimed, after he deserted. He said there was another author that said that Devil Anse went to the Logan Wildcats after he deserted from the regular army. That makes it right, so that makes it okay for you. No, it's not just one. Or that may be the initial, that may be the original one that wrote that into history. We got 50 books back here that's got that in it. 50 books. Does that make it right, guys? I go back there and write, Fred McCoy's got a whole head full of hair, and I do that. But it's in a book, has to be true. My head's cold, I gotta put my hat back on.
Okay.
We don't keep the heat on down here.
Nope.
Oh my God, I'm just flabbergasted. I really am. I'm just, the Logan Wildcats originally organized as a volunteer company in 1858, although the company logbook containing muster rolls from 1858 to 1860 fails to show Devil Anse's name as a member. Guys, what's that mean? I'm not on the list in Frankfurt as a state representative. My name's not on. They got a list down there of all the state representatives here in Kentucky. Fred McCoy's name's not on there. What do you think about that? It's because I'm not a state representative. My name wouldn't be listed on there. He says it right here. His name's not listed, nowhere on there. And then he starts out. I'm not going to go into it. And then he starts out and he starts telling you about this James Hitchman, captain, Ulysses S. Henchman. He tells you about James H. Henchman. He tells you on all these people here, and he refers back to Coleman Hatfield. Coleman Hatfield also cited a journal kept by a regional. Now, Coleman Hatfield is related. That's Cap Hatfield's grandson. That's Devil Anse's great grandson. Do you think Coleman Hatfield wrote anything derogatory other than Devil Anse? Cap's son, shepherd, starved to death, didn't have food to eat, malnutrition. But is there a lot of negative stuff about Devil Anse in that book? Would you write something negative about your great-great-grandfather? I would. If it's true and you're trying to correct history, or at least maybe you won't harp on it. You can help me, Sheila. Maybe you just wouldn't harp on it as much. She's back here. She's got every kind of motion going on back there.
Signing.
She has got everything in the world. Okay, I'm done. But Coleman Hatfield also cited a journal that was kept by a regimental clerk of the 129th Regiment Virginia Militia as evidence that he belonged to the militia company in that regiment. Wrote in a journal where he kept the company D, Dr. Joseph Hitchman allowed a certain time, Big Sandy River, and he's saying that he's telling you who all these people was in the Logan Wildcats, who all these other captains were that served. I served with a bunch of guys, a bunch of captains. I wasn't a captain. I served with a lot of people in life. I've done a lot of things in life, knew a lot of people. County judges, governors, everything in the world. That don't make me the governor. That don't make me the county judge. That don't make me the sheriff. Just because I knew these people. It's unbelievable, guys. This is, it's getting ready to turn to New Year. Tomorrow's New Year's Eve. So I don't know, you probably won't see this till after the New Year probably. So I've still got time to change.
You still got time.
Baby, I gotta quit getting these books.
Yeah.
Guys, quit writing these books if you don't care. Just quit writing them. If you ain't gonna write the truth. Because when I'm done with this book, I'm gonna show you the book. And I'm sure I'm on page 11, so I'm sure if it's already started out like this, I'm gonna go ahead and read it. It's winter, nothing else to do. Might as well read the book. But you would think in 2023, and you all wonder why I get so involved in these videos. And a guy told me the other day, he said, Fred, you're not, you need to calm down. You got some good information. You and Sheila's got some good records. You've got some good documentation. You got some good proof. But you need, guys, I'm all I got. Sheila's the camera person. Sheila's not going to do this.
Nope.
I don't have nobody else. I'm not trying to impress nobody as being this. Please don't look at the speech part of it. I'm not trying to impress nobody as saying, oh, I have Fred McCoy. He's got the best presence when he comes into a room or when he's giving us. I don't care about that. I really don't. I want you to hear what I'm saying. I want you to hear how these people, it's continuing on. And it's going to always continue. When Fred McCoy is dead, it's Fred and Sheila. Sheila will do the closing. Thank y'all.
Please like, subscribe, and share. And we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.